Right there, how's it going? Well, just arrived in the Ardèche. In fact, this is the Valley de Rhone, and it's in the north part of the Ardèche. I think I'm about 70 kilometres south of Lyon, and I've got friends here that I've known for a while. I used to do cherry farming here. Probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. I got a permit to sell cherries to market traders and shops. So I used to cultivate the cherries and sell them to the markets. Anyway, that's a little bit further up that way where I'm going to stop for the night, and we're going to go up there in a minute. But I just thought I'd stop at this little town. It's called Rhone, and this side of the river is the Ardèche, and that side of the river, the little town there, is called Rhone, and that's in a department called the Drôme, Le Drôme. And it's funny because there's only this is a big river, but it's all that divides the two sides, and they're so different, the people. They're a lot harder on this side. I think it's because like the Ardèche is the mountains, it leads into the mountains, so they're kind of mountain folk. Here they're by the river, but you know, it's that kind of mentality. And in the Drôme is kind of the foothills heading into the Alps, but it's not quite as rugged. And there's still countryside. They breed a lot of horses over there. We may go there and see something at some point, not immediately though. I used to live over there for a while. I had a little cottage there. I didn't breed horses though. As you can see, this is one of the stops with where the peniches stop. Peniches are like the barges, but they're like pleasure barges. So you can, it's called a croisière, where you can stay on board for a week, 2 weeks, and they go up and down the river. This river will pass through Lyon, and then it splits, and the Saône, the river Saône, also comes into the Rhone. And there's a place, just an island in Lyon where the two rivers meet. It's called where two lovers meet. This bridge is quite interesting. When they built it, it was the first suspension bridge ever built, and the way that they built it, they took the idea and then went on to build the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. We'll go and have a look. I can't remember the name of the architect, but if you look at the center column, they had to sink the base into the ground, obviously to support the middle of the bridge. And the way that they did that was build a thing called a caton, which was like an upside down wooden bowl, and they forced that down into the water and then pumped air into it to force the water out, so the workers could get in there and dig. And that was an idea they developed here, and then took along, you know, like I said, for the Brooklyn Bridge later on. Only problem is, when they built it, they obviously didn't foresee today's traffic, so it can get pretty jammed up there. You have to kind of one pass, then the other pass, one side stops. I think you can probably see there. Here up on the hill, you can see the sign Rhone and the 3 crosses above the church. That's the mayor's office. Last time I was here, that was a ruined house. They've obviously done that up. Oh, it's lovely today. We've got 17 degrees, beautiful sunshine. A bit further downriver around the corner is a place called Rhone, and at Rhone there's a yacht club, and I'm the president of the yacht club. It's an association that we formed back in 2007. So when I come up here, you know, we do things there. We'll probably pop down there and have a look later on. At one point I was going to build a port there and do a whole business idea. I got involved with the politics of the area, with the Conseil General. I had a friend who's an American architect, and he started to do designs and everything like that. And they wouldn't let me do it in the end because the mayor of the town, he had other plans. He didn't want to take on a project that was so big. But that could have developed that area, made a lot of work for people, and anyway, it didn't happen. And as in most kinds of business, you know, when you lose the moment, when that, you know, the opportunity, you lose the opportunity, and then of course the people who are involved in it go off and do other things, and you know, you never quite recapture that moment. It's, you know, just let it go and move on to the next idea, which is kind of what I did. It's why I'm here and not there, basically. But you can see a different area, different kind of landscape than where we've just been up at Le Châtre, where the castle was. So I think we'll just head off and go and find the place where I'm going to park tonight. So I'll see you a bit later. Hello, mate. Hello. Oh. You're a handsome fella, aren't you? Oh look, here comes his mate over there, look. Running for a bit of attention. Wait for me, wait for me. Save some of the bread for me. Oh, this is a cool spot, huh? So I'm going to park up here for tonight. Beautiful, calm day. You just wouldn't believe it was February. I'm going to get sunburnt. I can feel it. That tower was where they tied a cable that stretched all the way across to the other side, where there was another tower, and there was a big cable in between, and off the cable hung a big raft. And what used to happen was people used to come here, cross the river, and because of the flow of the river flows down this way, the guy could steer just using the current, and the boat would go sideways all the way across the other side. And that's how they used to use the river without, you know, having to have a bridge. Just build these towers with a big rope or a cable. Probably was a big rope in the beginning. And you can see the tower where there's rocks poking out the side. They were the steps that the guy used to get up and down to fix the cable. And to not fall off, because there wasn't any, you know, rails as such. There were just those kind of pegs out that he could hold on to, those metal pegs, or just step up on the rocks. He had a big long pole that he used to have in one hand, and used to like use the pole to steady himself as he climbed up to the top. And then at the top was the big ring, and that's where they'd attach the rope. So there it explains a little bit. You can see there how they used to tie the cable. And that was there for quite some time. That's an old painting, that one. That looks almost like a medieval painting. Oh yeah, they're talking 1347, 1255. It mentions something about it. And there you go, for any fishermen amongst you. That's what you expect to find in the Rhone. It gets very deep in places. They reckon that they've had catfish up to 150 kilos. I mean, that's massive. I've never seen one, but that's a huge fish, eh? 150 kilos. For me though, it's just another nice place to stop. On such a gorgeous day. I think I'm going to stay here for a couple of days. I went and stocked up with some food. Got plenty of water. Loads of paraffin for my heater. I've got gas. I've got food. I've got my solar panels. I've got water. I've got my guitar. I've got my camera. Just going to have a chilled out couple of days, do some qigong, some meditation. This is what living simply is all about for me.